Mine is a short answer because I don't know too much about car designers or get into the most beautiful car stuff. But my pick for most beautifully styled car, Jaguar D-Type.
What's up, everybody? This is Warren, Driving While Awesome. We're answering PFM California's question about our picks for most beautifully styled car of all time. So I thought I'd go through a few cars that have impacted me to shape my answer, I guess. Hopefully you guys can see this. I figured pictures are good for describing beautiful cars instead of just talking about them. This is an Alfa Romeo 6C body by Touring, and I saw this car at the Black Hawk Museum in Northern California about 1996, something like that. And it's got a really amazing styling for the fenders that kind of flow and swoop together rather than what all the other cars just had, like one big plank or two just bicycle style fenders. So this kind of starts that teardrop aerodynamic look, even though they don't really know what they're doing with aerodynamics. And that kind of gets us into the teardrop style. Fagioni Falashi, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but they really nailed it on the teardrop stuff. So enclosed fenders, typically they would use a Delahaye, a Delage, Tabalago, something like that, which was a really capable car at the time. So Grand Prix car, sports car of its day, and then they'd put this amazing body over it. I don't know what they're like to drive. If anyone has one and would like to Turo that, we're interested. But roadsters, and there was some coupes as well. This is a Tabalago, again that teardrop design, enclosed fenders, looks like it's just floating down the road. Pretty amazing in person. When you see them, they're just like nothing else. And that styling went on for a while. Like I don't know if you can see it, might be too bright, but Sauchik designed a few of them as well. This is a later Delahaye, but that really swoopy enclosed fender design is high up there. Then things get a little more sinister. This is a Mercedes-Benz SSK. When Ferdinand Porsche worked for Mercedes-Benz, he designed the SSK, and then they chopped a section out of it to make it even shorter of the 540K. So this was rebodied in period. It's the Count Trossi car that Ralph Lauren now owns. Super famous car, incredible design, and really capable. So supercharged supercar basically. And this would have been the more pedestrian version, the 540K. Incredible cars in person. Quite a few different bodies, different styling houses, but when you see one in person, it's like stops you in your tracks. They're huge, and there's a ton of detail. I think that's important too with these cars, is you want something to like kind of look in your eye to follow, and these cars have it to the max. So that's a really beautiful car. And then this is another small picture here, but this is an Alfa Romeo 8C, and this is a Spider, body by Touring. Beautiful, beautiful design, a lot of great details, and again, supercar of its day, like really fast, capable car, probably quick even by today's standards. So really, really nice. So that's another Touring bodied car, and they did stuff pre-war and post-war. That would be really high on the list. It's difficult with the other cars, like these teardrop cars. Like for example, this is a Bugatti Type 57, and it's bodied by Van Voren. Now, I've barely heard of Van Voren, and this might be their one-hit wonder, but each car was so different. Even the same styling house like Touring would make a different body for each customer. So you almost have to find the exact car you want. Like for example, this is a Bugatti that was made for the Shah of Iran, and it has a retractable windshield. So talk about pillarless, right? That's just as good as it gets. And again, the enclosed fenders, the teardrop design, beautiful, super beautiful car. So I would take this one, any of them, Count Trossi, SSK, the Alpha 8C by Touring, Spider, something like that. So anyways, hope that answers the question, and let me know if I'm way off in the comments below, and we will see you next time. All right, thanks.
All right. Despite what y'all may think, the PT Cruiser is not my favorite or choice for most beautiful car. But my choice is a car I've talked about a lot. A car I would say is my favorite car of all time. My, unobtainable bucket list car is the Ferrari 250 GT California. Short wheelbase, covered headlight car. So that's my favorite design of all time. I think it's the most beautiful. In my opinion, it's the most beautiful car of all time. I guess today it is. And it was, I believe, so it was a Scaglietti car, but it was influenced by the earlier 250 GT Pininfarina spiders. So, it's kind of a combination of Scaglietti and Pininfarina. And yeah, it's my favorite, or that's what, in my opinion, the most beautiful car of all time. It has a lot of nice, fine details, but overall it's a very simple form. And that's kind of what I appreciate in car design. That's one of the reasons I like Porsches. It's the simplicity, but also having little fine details. I also have to give props, I guess, to Erwin Commenda. So he was the designer of the original 356. And I think the 356 is a beautiful car in its own right. And it also influenced a line of just like great designs with the, Porsche 901, 911s, a bunch of those cars. And yeah, I guess that's my choice. And then, and then as far as designers go, Pininfarina, hard to go wrong with. But I think I really like Giugiaro. I like the wedge-shaped designs that Giugiaro's put out. I wouldn't say they're beautiful. I would say they're really cool and really just neat designs, but definitely not beautiful. But yeah, that's like Lotus Esprit and Scirocco, Rabbit, stuff like that. I think those are really cool designs, and I like what they do. And then Tony Lapine, I really, I dig the 928, the 944, stuff like that, so I got to give him some credit. Those are cars I've always loved, and they're obtainable, and obviously I have a 944, but I've loved those, that design since forever, since I was just a little kid. So yeah, that's my choice. Ferrari 250 GT California, short wheelbase, covered headlight. Most beautiful car of all time. Thanks.
Mine is the Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale. That is definitely the most beautifully stylized car in my opinion. Definitely down to a very specific aesthetic. It's more race car than street car, although it is the Stradale, which means street car. But you go pre-war, you're talking about insanely ornate interiors, which are gorgeous. I love everything Art Deco. I mean, for sure there's a lot of beauty there and a lot of style. But the Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale is just penned so beautifully. I mean, the car looks like, it's a classic example of a car that looks like it's moving while it's standing still. I mean, the shape, everything is so flowy and organic, but at the same time slightly exaggerated, just enough to where it is kind of borderline cartoony. I mean, you look at it, it's very retro futuristic 1960s race car. The canted the fender lines are basically, or canted wheel wells, sorry, not fender lines, but the wheel itself, you see this line that's not a traditional round or kind of even rectangular shape, but this is actually canted forward against the really exaggerated front fender line, and then the big huge headlight holes, spaces, whatever. Obviously I'm not a design guy, Lane's probably gonna kill me, but you have the quad headlights inset and these really sick kind of plexiglass housings, and then you have the rear with like so much detail yet making it look so understated. You have these big cutouts in the rear quarters to evacuate hot air from the engine bay, and just all the little details. It's just so beautiful. I mean, and the interior is super basic. I mean, it is basically a race car again. So It was derived from the Tipo 33 race car that was campaigned in the late 60s. Although it doesn't look anything like it. It does have a pretty sick motor though. It's a race-derived little 2-liter V8, sorry, quad cam 2-liter V8. It's nuts. I mean, flat plane crank. Think of the way that that thing sounds in person. I mean, it's got to be insane, right? So it's just super sexy, super beautiful, and then combined with those classic Campagnolo wheels. It's got like 13x8s up front, 13x9, so small, wide, chunky. Yeah, that is, oh man, I can go on and on about that car. You know, first dihedral doors, so they don't scissor up, they actually go up and out, like a McLaren F1 or, you know, the new, or even the new McLarens, I guess. So yeah, pretty amazingly stylized car. So naturally, the firm or designer that I'm partial to is Franco Scaglione. I mean, that guy was an absolute genius, a total artist. I mean, you look at his work and everything is just so, like, it's just so artistic. I mean, and it's like he worked on the early 50s the Alfa Romeo Bat cars, which were really sweet aerodynamic experiments. And I mean, talk about retrofuturism. I mean, he's taking this concept and making it super cool and aesthetically, like, pleasing without being ridiculous, you know, like, kind of, I mean, let's just not, I don't mean to, you know, whatever, but ultimately, you know, there's, you know, you have like in the era, you have like ridiculous like bubble top designs with like little tiny mirror, like, you know, just kind of Jetsons shit, which is cool and it is artistic, but like he made it actually usable, which is pretty incredible. So that's where I'm at. The man was a total genius. He designed the Abarth, the 356B GTL, I think, the Carrera, Abarth Carrera. So that was a Le Mans race car, and I believe that year, I think it was 1960, it was the only Porsche that actually finished the race, and it also won its class, which is pretty epic. And it's a really sick looking car. I mean, total kind of predecessor to the 911 if you really look at it. It's kind of a 911 or 901 body style combined with the 356 if you really look at it, and super cool car. So those are my choices. Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale, the early car with the quad headlights, not both front and rear fender vents, just the rears, and then Franco Scaglione as my favorite automotive designer.